Hello, my name is Travis, and I am a fourth year child development student at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I am making this video podcast for one of my classes on adolescence and technology. So, the project for the class was to critically view a children's television show from the standpoint of a child, a teacher, a parent, and then just as myself. So I thought, why not just come home from school, turn on the TV, and go from there. So I got home and turned on Nickelodeon. It was around 3:30. I thought that would be perfect because I think that's a lot of times when children and adolescents are getting home from school, and I know that's probably when they will just flip on the TV, sit on the couch, and zone out for a while. So I thought, why not watch what they're watching right now? And I happened to fall onto SpongeBob SquarePants, a very popular show. But I think that's a good thing because SpongeBob was not around when I was growing up, and since then I really haven't had that much time spent watching SpongeBob. I don't think I've actually ever watched a full episode, and it's been so. It would be. I thought it would be a good idea to critically view something that's been popular for a long time and continues to be popular. So, when watching the show from the standpoint of a child, I try to just sit and enjoy it and look for the qualities that the young 7 or 8 year old of myself would be seeing the show as. So it's definitely a very funny show right off the bat. SpongeBob and his friends are constantly cracking jokes. It's got that physical humor quality about it, so lots of um, burping and tripping and farting and all that kind of good stuff that will make most um, adolescents and kids laugh. And I caught myself laughing, so I can see why that humor is a little timeless, even. Um, it's really fast paced. The dialogue is really fast, so I think as a kid, I would have definitely not been bored. I mean, like, there's just constant action happening, and there's the storylines are so loose. They're not following an arc, so you kind of just get to sit back as a kid and enjoy this little crazy carnival ride of a show. So when I viewed it though as a parent, I definitely was struggling to find some of the redeeming qualities. I think immediately I felt like this is a really recognizable show, and I can see why parents feel comfortable. This is a character that they know, and there's no harm or fear they feel from SpongeBob. And I think because the show is so fast paced, that I think a parent can safely assume that if they're have a lot of work to do and are super busy, that they can put their child in front of the TV for a good half hour and know that the child's going to be entertained. But viewing the show as a teacher, that was pretty rough. There's not a lot of educational value of SpongeBob. Um, it is probably even a little developmentally inappropriate for the 7 to 8 year old that its rating was for. Um, I wrote down a couple words. They used astrophysicist and ambidextrous. When SpongeBob hurt his finger at work, he said he wasn't a problem because he's ambidextrous. I don't think that those are words that a 7 or 8 year old would understand, maybe, and they don't do really a good job of using that as a teaching moment to kind of define what those words mean. And also, a lot of the times they use kind of inappropriate language. I wrote down that SpongeBob calls his friend stupid. Another coworker at the place he works, the Krabby Patty, said he was an idiot. They call each other dumb. It's kind of violent. I think in the episode that I watched, SpongeBob is has a sword that he's fighting with, and another time he's trying to blow up Patrick with a bomb. So maybe a little violent for children to watch, and there's not really any cause and effect. So for teachers, I would argue that they don't see any educational value to SpongeBob SquarePants. With great shows out on PBS, Disney, Nickelodeon, like Dora and Sesame Street, Arthur, I think there are so many other options for shows that incorporate some kind of teaching of a language, of numbers, anything like that. That's going to be an educational value for kids, and I don't think SpongeBob offers that. And then when I viewed it from just a college child development student, um, I was pretty alarmed again with the language, with the violence, and I think because I'm working so closely on this idea of gender with other projects I have in school, maybe that's I was hypersensitive to that. But when I was viewing the show, there wasn't a single female character that had any speaking part in the whole half-hour show, and they did have one female character. She was like another starfish, but she was a nurse at the hospital when SpongeBob got hurt, and she didn't even have a speaking part. So, in an entire 30-minute episode, all children are going to see is these same gender norms. A policeman, a boss, all these characters as these dominant males, and then there's no female characters, and if they are, they don't speak, and they're just a nurse. Um, so that was kind of strange and a little alarming that in 2013 there's still shows that are being produced that don't take into account some of those stereotypes. So, in the end, as a kid, it's a fun and funny show. As a parent, it's familiar and comfortable. But as a student, a college student, as any hopefully teacher would think, it's not really an educational show by any means, and not really probably developmentally appropriate. So, sorry for SpongeBob. I don't think it's going to lose any of its appeal, but when I critically examined it, it didn't really offer up a lot of positives. So that's all I have for this project, but stay tuned for more thoughts and opinions. Thanks.